Unmute your mic.
Oh my gosh, you guys just missed the best intro of all time. But
it was epic. I could hear it from here. So
pretty great. But John Kaluter, Josh Mason, both high atop IAP-wise Michael A. Carroll Stadium, where tonight Indy 11 falls 1-0 to Atlanta United 2 in a clash of teams in the center of the table in the Central Division. With the results, Atlanta United, who enter the evening a point behind, leapfrogs Indy 11 closer towards that fourth and final playoff spot in the Central. They're now sitting on 28 points, while Indy 11 stands pat on 26. We can get into the standings a little bit later in tonight's post-game show, which is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. And Josh, we thought we had the monkey off our back here at Carroll Stadium with 2 wins in a row coming in here. But unfortunately, the familiar problem of finishing came back to bite Indy 11 tonight, as it had in many home games over the course of the first 3-4 months of the season.
And I first to tell you, I was taking notes the entire game, and I counted at least 5 opportunities in the second half alone where, with a little bit better finishing opportunity, we would have had this game, if not one. At minimum, the way we're pressing, at least getting the tie, getting our point that we need to walk away with this evening to feel even remotely good about our performance overall. But I count here with Law, Moon, Wild, and Moon with 2 other opportunities. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
you could go on.
And they weren't all silver platter chances for sure. Some were stronger than others, but you could see that one-way traffic moving towards the Atlanta goal, especially in those first 15, 20 minutes of the second half. I had a train of thought, and I was going to walk it back to something earlier. Oh, yes. In lieu of coach and player interviews tonight, we're counting on the fans to provide some comments. It's wet down on the track, as anyone who watched tonight noticed. It was raining. Anyone who was here tonight knew it was raining all evening long. So we're going to let coach and the players get dry this evening. So Josh and I will be steering the ship with your comments. Jonathan Rice, I believe the Mountain, says, bring in the Indy version of Roy Kent. Josh, you are the resident
Ted Lasso human
expert here, so I'll leave that one to you.
Well, I will say I would love to use this catchphrase in this post game scenario, but I cannot for the fact it is not FCC appropriate. But I would say it does apply to the way I feel about this evening.
For the Ted Lasso curious, can you at least give us a PG-13 rated?
It would be bloody hell, if you will, in the nicest of ways. But I agree. I said this. I don't know if we have a Roy Kent personality in the team, but I certainly could use some of that fire that guy has and displays on the show. But I want to continue to make sure we push you guys in the comments section. Please jump in. We want to hear what you have to say. And obviously, we can pass these things and future things to coach and to players as they come through. But we always want to hear from you as a fan who helps drive this club.
Fernando Dominguez says, first, go into 11. We appreciate the spur on. And then have everything to be number 1 of the regional in this level. We just need to focus in finding the goal man, the one that is the one that makes the difference, I see. And that, it's going to be a by committee thing, I think, moving forward. And I think we saw that tonight with Arteaga not having maybe the chances we're used to seeing him have. But again, we saw Nick Moon supply some danger. We saw Nicky Law get in the box and try to do some fox in the box things. We saw Gordon Wild with a chance or two. One in the first minute. That would have been a fantastic way to turn the game on its head straight off a minute in. But, especially with this week's departure of Jordan Hamilton, I think you're going to see an approach that, especially when you're playing a 3-4-3, and you've got three guys on that top line. The goal scoring is not just one man's job. So you're looking at especially those three, but supporting cast as well, and a lot of that is tilted towards that right side of the field with Nick Moon providing a ton of danger, really either flank. So we saw him make some nice attacks in from the left side of the pitch as well. Rock the Rice asks, is Ted Lasso making guest appearance at training on Monday? Lots of Ted Lasso on the brain tonight.
Right. My hope is if we can get him to come, hey, I'll make that phone call.
We're going to stick with Coach Rogers here on out, I'm sure, but maybe some Ted Lasso inspirational signage going up in the training center at Grand Park. That being said, we are going to take a quick peek at the standings because I am curious. We know Tulsa had a big win over Louisville last night that turned some heads for sure, as they kind of had to continue their vice grip on third place. And we look at the live central standings to reveal it's OKC Energy claiming that fourth spot right now at 29 points, with Atlanta United one behind on 28, and the 11 two behind them, still within a game of OKC Energy FC on 26 points. The good news, and the 11 has 2 games in hand on those 2 teams immediately above them and within a win's reach. So, again, we're going to say this repeatedly, not all hope is lost. And after wins, we're going to say this doesn't put us out of the woods with just the way that center of the Central is so tight. 3 teams within 3 points, 4 teams within 6 points, with Memphis kind of lurking down there, 23 points, 3 points behind Indy 11 with a game in hand on us. So a busy September is going to lay a lot out for how the stretch drive will go in October, but really a busy week for Indy 11 might provide more clarity as we'll head to Tulsa on Wednesday night for hosting Sporting KC here at the Mike next Saturday. Again, we urge you to provide some comments. Josh, do we have any more?
One more here from Jeremy Albert coming through. Shout out to Gutschar for bossing the midfield tonight. Appreciate the effort. I have to agree with you. He was all over the pitch this evening. We'll look at some heat maps and some things in regards to some player performance items. But one of the things we do see rather early, and some of you may use this within either the Indy 11 app or USL Championship website, we do get a lot of stats as it relates to the game. Out of curiosity, John, have you looked at the stats of you this evening? So I'm going to surprise you with some things. What did you see, John, if I were to ask you, what was possession looking like tonight for you from what you watched of the game?
First half, I would have called it pretty even. Second half, it sure seemed tilted towards Indy 11's side of the possession battle, which is to be expected when a team is chasing the game a bit. But maybe not as decisive as I thought, as I'm cheating and looking at the Opta stats page right now. But I won't spoil your fun, Josh.
It's fine. I said it really was, to your point, very, very even. That being said, obviously with 51% of the possession, he's still winning with Atlanta United too. The thing that I thought was most telling, based on what we were talking about earlier, was the attacking information. Take a quick look at that, John, in terms of how many shots we had on goal, on target this evening in comparison to Atlanta. So to show you just how much we were pressing and just how much us not finishing really cost us the game tonight.
Yeah, it's 4 shots on goal for both teams, and 2 in each half for Indy 11. All 4 of Atlanta United's came in that first 45 minutes. Where the difference is, Indy 11 with 17 total shots, Atlanta with only 8. So the chances, while you got to earn them, and Indy 11 did with 17, you got to put them on frame. I think what we saw in the first half was a lot of shooting from distance and trying to see if we can't get something to skip either past Lundgaard or off Lundgaard and try to get the old hockey type goal and swoop in with some guys on a second chance for a free ball in the area. But Lundgaard, the former Indy 11 man, did well not to gobble up or not to spray any rebounds, and did a good job on the wet turf, wet ball to secure his box and the chances that came his way quite well. On the other side of things, I was really impressed by Atlanta the way after the first 10 minutes or so they got themselves into the match, provided some steady pressure, resulting in the goal in the 26th minute. What it was a cleared corner briefly fell out to the foot of Aiden McFadden from 20 yards out. He put
that was a screamer.
Really a pretty class curler far post just inside that right post that gave Jordan Farr very little to no chance to get a paw on it. So, one goal, you would like to think one goal allowed at home, you're still going to be able to get something out of the match. And this is interesting. I did the stat. I looked this up midweek. This is the first time Atlanta has won a game with scoring one goal all season long. They've gotten all their wins scoring two or more goals. So typically, if you hold Atlanta to one, you're getting something out of the match. This result, though, is the exception to the norm. But it was not without some quality looks coming in 11's way.
I said I couldn't have been more proud in terms of the way we played. We did press the entire game. I definitely saw a different level of heart being shown on the field, and those are things. To be fair, the fans showed tonight. So I'm going to give this a quick shout out here for our buddy Indy 11 UK. Can we give a man of the match to the fans for coming out in that weather? And I will be the first to tell you, I was impressed with the number of people who showed up tonight because you never know when you have a rainy day like we did today as to what you're going to see at Carroll Stadium on a game day. So first and foremost, to those of you who do attend or did attend, or even if you watched at home because you were just afraid it wasn't a good night for you to get out, we appreciate you supporting our club, and it wasn't without notice that we appreciate you being here this evening.
Give another shout out to Jeremy Albert on watching us on YouTube, it looks like. Also really happy to see Haworth getting some meaningful touches and crosses, goals incoming. Carl gets in 73rd minute, gets a nice 20-plus minute run out with the addendum stoppage time tonight. 77th minute, Carl got his chance and really created it on his own, poking the ball, kind of rainbowing it over a defender to set up.
It's a nice hit.
A blast from about 20 yards out that was dipping, didn't dip soon enough, but that's the Carl Haworth we expect to see out on the pitch for these final 11 matches starting Wednesday night. So, cameo last Saturday, another 15 to 20 tonight. Carl's working his way back to fitness. Boy, would I think he provides some great danger on the outside of that three-man top line, and it'd be interesting to see if that's the case. If he is going to be 60-minute ready pretty soon, do you put him in the starting 11 for an injection of something new up top? That finishing, it's rusty until that first one goes in, and then you never know how that could pile up. So it'd be interesting to see what Haworth's like a free signing here coming down the stretch drive. So
yep.
It'll be very interesting to see what contributions he can make.
I said I'm completely aligned with that. You saw just a little flashes of brilliance just coming in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game tonight. I would like to see more of that come from him. And I said when he sees the starting 11, who knows? I'd love to see with, the whole plan was him and Ioze, right? Well, at least of last year, working the flanks to see what we could get creatively in that space. And it really worked well for what we had going on last year with the personnel we had. This year, a little bit different group. Let's see what we can get out of it moving forward. Again, I said the thing that I think that really rears its head here is just the lack of finishing. Doesn't mean we can't do it. I thought our ex-Indy 11 goalkeeper Lundgaard played a great game, and I will still call him that because he did wear a crest for a short period of time, but had a great game overall for himself. So a little bit of credit to Atlanta United too. in terms of between the pipes this evening.
One more comment here from our man Travis Phelps. 2 thoughts. Not enough runs far post, and Mertz is still a punt, referring to Robbie Mertz, USL Championship veteran Robbie Mertz. We were used to rooting against him for Pittsburgh until this season when he popped up on Atlanta United 2. The far post runs, it's maybe I'm not educated enough to be watching for that. But I think the runs are one thing. The crosses are another. Obviously, the more bodies you have to get on the end of those, potentially the more successful those can be. I'm trying to get into the stats now and see just exactly what the cross numbers look like. Both teams had 14 crosses from open play. As I try to look and see how many connected.
Well, to Travis's point, I think what he's saying is that there'll be a lot of balls coming in out wide that were dropping well outside the far post. It hopes there'll be a far post run coming in to crash that back post. Didn't see that. There's a couple times. There's a couple of near post places we could have shown up too. To be fair, I think the keeper got to 1 or 2 of those. Travis, in my opinion, was just in good position to get to them. But you have to be in position to be able to make the play. So when you're coming off a cross, I said I don't know if that's what they're training for, just to play that back post or just get the ball in off the cross in general. So. I'm not at training anymore than you are, John, in a lot of ways. I said, I don't know tactically what they were trying to get accomplished, but to Travis's point, I said having finishing person on the back post wouldn't always be the worst time, especially when it shows up on the field. So, John, if I were to put your feet to the fire, I know we just saw a great game be played by both squads, even though we didn't get what we'd like. If I were to call for your man of the match, who is someone you're looking at this evening for you in terms of who you put in that hot seat?
I'm looking at Nick Moon. We talked about crosses. I was able to look it up. He had a team high 6 crosses, all from open play. Gordon Wild also had 6. Most of those came from dead ball services, though. In the 11 UK, so Seekers and Moon outstanding again. They are both rapid. Indeed, they are. And I think Moon has that rapidness, that quickness on the ball that sets him apart from, I think, anyone else. That ability to dribble, really willingness to attack on the dribble and try to beat guys one-on-one. And when he was able to do that tonight, he was able to snap off some crosses. For my money, I almost want to give it to Gordon Wild for that ball he played into Moon up Route 1 around the 70th minute, I think it was. Those two linked well right around that time. Moon played Wild in for a chance, then Wild returned the favor. I thought Gordon stepped up a little bit tonight. I thought Nicky Law found himself, especially at the start of that second half, with everything seemed to be going at his feet for the first 15 minutes. He was able to test Lundgaard a couple times, missed another one just wide left. So I think Nicky had a very active night as well. Guchar, I think, also gets a boost. Who was it? Jeremy Albert. I'd put him in the mix, but there could be only one. So when I vote tomorrow for the Grand Park Man of the Match, it'll probably be Nicky.
And honestly, I'd be aligned with you. Just basically A2. I said my notes had him. My favorite play for him this evening is, if you were watching from home, as he was in the BYB corner, attacking on goal for basically the goal line, and was being extremely creative with the ball. And I saw the defender just almost didn't know where he was going. Nick was 3 steps ahead of him. Couldn't get through, play the ball back, but still, I mean, just shows his prowess in terms of being able to keep and control a ball and really try to find those in balls, as you mentioned, with him and Wild early in the game were fantastic. So if you're going to give, again, my foot to the fire, my Grand Park Man of the match would also be a Nick Moon.
Remember, that will be live tomorrow morning. All y'all could go vote for the Grand Park Man of the Match when it is live on Twitter tomorrow. A great way to pass some time during your Labor Day weekend. We hope you all enjoy a Monday off, assuming you all get a Monday off. Speaking of time off, I think we're going to get away here soon. One more shout to Travis Phelps, though. Who says, I would also like to see fewer touches, free pass. I feel like we have too many turnovers while dribbling. sometimes I think there's a tendency. I think it comes oftentimes from spacing. I think sometimes it's sorry, I'm struggling for my words here, but it's a combination of the spacing that kind of forces guys into taking more touches rather than trying to play quick 1-1-2s. So I think if the spacing can get figured out a little more, especially when you're entering that final third, in that quadrant of the field, I think there's time and place for having the ball at your feet a lot. But I agree. I think some of those passes could come off a touch or two faster to help swing things a little more, switch the pitch a little faster when Indy 11 opts to do so. With that, Josh, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up, but not until we get some promotions for what's coming up next. Coming up Wednesday, Rhodey first at FC Tulsa. That match coming up at 8 p.m. You can follow that on ESPN Plus streaming video, also on the Indy 11 live Twitter feed, presented by Central Indiana Honda Dealers, of course. And then it's back here at the mic next Saturday night, third of 4 consecutive Saturdays here at Carroll Stadium, when we'll take on Sporting KC2. 7 p.m. kickoff on Faith and Family Night. We'll have a quartet of the boys in blue. I believe it's Jeremiah Gutierrez, Jared Timmer, Reese Buckmaster, and Jordan Farr. Join team chaplain and all-around fantastic individual Sean Keith for a post-game testimonial and Q&A session. Free of charge, comes with the admission. So hear those fine, upstanding gentlemen of our community, and that's not sarcasm or hyperbole. It's very true. They're all fantastic individuals. You can kind of get some listen to them talk about their journey to the pros and how their faith has played a part in it. Really, it's been an annual event here at Indy 11, always typically well attended. So we'll have that back here at the mic following next Saturday, 7 p.m. kickoff in Sporting KC, and then September 18th. Again, close out the Saturday consecutive slate against the team that shall not be named from across the Ohio River on the World Comes to the Mic night. Check out everything we have planned around those two games at indy11.com/promotions. We'll have some information on the potential contests, on-field flag presentation for the 18th game that y'all can be a part of. So we look for more coming on that on Monday. Josh, any parting thoughts?
But last thing I'll close with, we sent out a post-game survey, one we do a couple times a year to gather fan feedback to make sure our game days are special and as unique as possible, to make sure our fan experience is the best in class and all things in Indianapolis sports in the professional sporting space. So please, your feedback, John and I really do take that seriously and try to apply to our game days the best we possibly can to make sure, win or lose, or what you see from the boys in blue, that your game day is great on behalf of Indy 11.
With that, we'll close it out for the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show. For Josh Mason, John Kluter, again, leaving all from Carroll Stadium, where Indy 11 falls 1-0 to Atlanta United 2. We'll catch you on Twitter on Wednesday and here at the mic next Saturday. Take care.